Hello everybody, my name is Harley and this is Harley of All Trades. To kick off my little series that I've got going here, I am going to be trying out video games this week. Now I know what you're probably thinking, Harley, you seriously never played a single video game in your whole life? Well, I have. Mostly just the mid-2000s, 2010s phone games like Temple Run and Fruit Ninja. But I've never really played Xbox. I've played PlayStation before, but nothing too intense. I want to take a moment to talk about a brief history of video games. When we think of video games in their early stages, like the 1980s games, we probably think of Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, those types of games. But what if I told you that the first video game to ever be created was in 1958 by a physicist? William Higginbotham is believed to be the inventor of the first ever video game. It was a tennis game kind of like the 1970s Pong. Higginbotham presented his game at the Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York on the annual Visitors' Day where thousands of people would come and tour the lab. Higginbotham was tasked to create an exhibit that showcased the instrumentation division's work. Higginbotham thought that the other exhibits were a bit lackluster, and he wondered if he could create an interactive exhibit the visitors could play. According to the American Physics Society website, the instrumentation group had a small analog computer that could display various curves, including the path of a bouncing ball on an oscilloscope. It took Higginbotham only a couple of hours to conceive the idea of a tennis game, and only a few days to put together the basic pieces. Having worked on displays for radar systems and many other electronic devices, Higginbotham had no trouble designing the simple gameplay. And thus, the first ever video game, Tennis for Two, was born. Since the genesis of this new game, digital interactive video games virtually exploded, no pun intended, in popularity. From arcades to home consoles, to online games, to mobile games, video games have become a cultural phenomenon. Video games have become so popular, in fact, that esports, a form of competitive video gaming, often with monetary incentive, come up in discussions for being included in the Olympics. There's honestly a lot of video game history that is incredibly interesting, but for the sake of time in this video, I'm going to keep it pretty brief. I will link some resources down in the description if you'd like to learn more. So now on to my plan for the week. This week, I want to play 2 video games. So my boyfriend was gracious enough to let me borrow his Nintendo Switch and 2 games. Now you can probably guess which video games I'm going to be playing since I already mentioned Nintendo Switch, and you're probably right. The first game I'm going to be trying out this week is Animal Crossing New Horizons. So Animal Crossing hit the market on March 20th, 2020, right at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. I saw a lot online about this game, and at the time, I didn't have access to a Nintendo Switch, so I would just watch YouTube videos of people playing Animal Crossing and kind of live vicariously through their experiences with it, and it just seemed like such a fun game. I mean, we were all stuck inside, and like you just played as these cute little characters, and you can go fishing and build little things and interact with other people, and you could visit people's islands. So despite the horrible circumstances at the time, it was kind of a well-timed release for the game, I believe. So what exactly is the premise of Animal Crossing? In New Horizons, the player controls a character who moves to a deserted island after purchasing a getaway package from Tom Nook, accomplishes assigned tasks, and develops the island as they choose. They can gather and craft items, customize the island, and develop it into a community of anthropomorphic animals. As I was researching about this game more, I came across 2 quotes that I wanted to share. The first one is from the New York Times, from an article called "Why Animal Crossing is the Game for the Coronavirus Moment." Imagine escaping into an island paradise where bags of money fall out of trees and a talking raccoon can approve you for a mortgage. With the world in the grip of the pandemic, that's exactly the sort of escape that's captivated so many. Not in their fantasies, but in the world of Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's the latest in a series that's been around since 2001, but New Horizons is the first built from the ground up console release in 19 years. It's also a conveniently timed piece of whimsy for gamers. It has become a phenomenon. I also found a couple quotes from a Reddit thread. My anxiety was absolutely horrendous during the lockdown. I really hit rock bottom. But then 2 to 3 months into lockdown, I bought a Switch and Animal Crossing New Horizons. So then I spent hours with my little character swimming around in the ocean over and over while playing slow, relaxing music, and I finally found a way to ignore the anxiety. I don't know where I'd be or what state I'd be in if it wasn't for finding this game at just the right time. Someone replied to this thread saying, quote, Animal Crossing was truly the best game I could have asked for to stay close with my friends during the start of a worldwide pandemic. Needless to say, I'm really excited to start playing this game. The second game that I'm going to be delving into this week is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda was released a few years before Animal Crossing on March 3rd, 2017. So what's the premise of Breath of the Wild? This is from Nintendo. After a 100-year-long slumber, Link wakes up alone in a world he no longer remembers. Now the legendary hero must explore a vast and dangerous land and regain his memories before Hyrule is lost forever. Armed only with what he can scavenge, Link sets out to find answers and the resources needed to survive. This game was also really well received, just like Animal Crossing was. Critics praise its open-ended gameplay, open-world design, and attention to detail, though some criticize its technical performance. It is the best-selling Zelda game and one of the best-selling video games of all time, with 34.32 million copies sold as of December 2024. So I have very high hopes for this game. I'm very excited. I'm glad that I chose these two games specifically because this one's more of a choose your own adventure, kind of do what you want sort of thing, whereas this one there's more of a structure to it and there's a lot more, it seems like there's going to be a lot more side quests and just something to kind of move the plot along. So I'll be switching between these two games this week. Without further ado, let's get into the video games.
Alright, so it's night one of trying out a new hobby. I said hobby, weird. So we're going to try out a few games on the Nintendo Switch, and the first game is going to be none other than Animal Crossing. We'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. As you can tell, I'm such a gamer already. Let's go.
Hi, this is voiceover Harley. I am taking time lapses of myself playing these games. So this night I'm playing Animal Crossing and I just set up my first tent in my little island. Also, I didn't realize that you could name your islands. I think that's coming up here in a second. Yes, so I named mine Obitopia after my cat, and this first night was super fun. So this is night 2 of me playing Animal Crossing. I wasn't as impressed with this night just because there wasn't really much to do on the island. I tried going around to the different animals, trying to see if I could maybe get a quest or a little side activity or something, but I kind of was just roaming around the island the whole time, and yeah, not much to report there.
So I've got about 10 to 15 minutes to go before I have to go to work. So I'm going to continue my playing of Animal Crossing. I'm really liking it so far. It's really cute. I'm kind of struggling with how to do the tasks. Right now I'm just kind of walking around and talking to the computer characters. Hopefully I can figure that out today. But if not, hey, it's fine. That's what we're here for, to learn. I'll do that for a little bit and then I gotta go to work, so. I think I finally figured out how to fish on Animal Crossing. It's definitely a time thing. The first thing that I caught was a tin can, a flimsy net to catch butterflies, and then I caught a yellow perch. So that was really cool. I also made a campfire, a succulent plant from the tin can that I fished out of the water. I made something else, but I did a few DIY recipes, as they like to call it, which I think is really cute. But I'm excited to play some more, and I think tomorrow I'll switch over to Breath of the Wild and see how that goes.
Hi, I just got back from a friend's birthday party and it was fairy tale theme. I dressed up, so I just came back from that, little flowers in my hair. I thought this would be a great opportunity to introduce the next game that I'm gonna be trying out. So we're moving away from Animal Crossing and I'm gonna go into The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild. I'm very excited to try out this new game. This is unrelated to the games. I just wanted to shout out the Sigma Tau Delta chapter here at UGA. Yesterday they had a blind date with a book event, so I picked one up and I wanted to open it on camera. These 4 children find themselves in a magical land and they have to fight to save it and themselves. Sounds like Narnia, which would be unfortunate because I already have a copy of Narnia and I've read it before. Maybe I'll be surprised. I'll keep it. Because honestly the copy that I have is kind of raggedy. It was my grandmother's. I'm gonna keep it because it was my grandmother's. She's still alive. Stations too. Well, how cute. Thank you, Sigma Tau Delta. So for Breath of the Wild, I was already a lot more impressed just because of the way that the story is set up. You have to do a lot of quests and different little puzzles and activities, and I was also really blown away by the graphics. It was very serene, very calm, and the world seems very immersive, so I really loved that about this game. So this was the final day of my playing video games for the week, and I ended on Breath of the Wild again. I really liked this game a lot. It was very challenging though because you had to find these, what was called Sheikah shrines, and I think I found 3 out of the 5, but I was having a lot of trouble navigating the map because I kept dying and it kept getting dark outside in the game, but I still want to try it out some more after this week, and I think this was my favorite game by far. Alright, it's the end of the week, and here are my thoughts on video games as a hobby. I honestly really enjoyed it. It was something I looked forward to at the end of every day after I finished all my schoolwork, all my regular work. I was most excited to play The Breath of the Wild. I kind of had a feeling that I would like this game a bit more, just like I said before at the beginning of this video, that it has more of a structured story, there's more quests and activities you can do. I did like Animal Crossing, however, I found that I was getting stuck a lot of the time because, I don't know, I would just kind of wander on the island and try and build some, I would try to build some things and then it wouldn't really work, or I didn't have like the right materials, and I would try to talk to some of the islanders and they kind of just had like the generic talk to me conversations. I don't know, but I got kind of stagnant and a little boring to me. Maybe I just need to try it a little bit more, but like this series is about, it's not about perfection, it's just trying it out, and I still had fun along the way. Let me know down below if you've ever played either of these games, if you have another video game that you're really passionate about that you want to share your experience with. He was messing with my laptop. But let me know, have you played these video games before? Do you really like them? Do you not? Do you have other video games that you really like and want to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, try new things, embrace the imperfection, and have fun. I'll see y'all next week.